What's going on, everyone? It's Matt Deeks here, back with another video. Appreciate you guys for dropping in. So today we got a pretty cool video. I want to break down exactly what the difference is between the defense types in Space Marine 2 for melee weapons: block, fencing, and balanced. Now, if you're a veteran player, this video, you might want to, skip over this video. Again, if you want to support the channel and you want to watch it, definitely feel free to, or if you don't just fully understand it, this video will be for you. I have a lot of people in my comments that say, hey, Deegs, I'm a new player. I just downloaded the game and they're asking me questions. So I want to start making a series just kind of going over a few different things in the game that I find a lot of people don't know about or just don't fully understand. Okay, so if that's something you're interested in, guys, sit back and enjoy this video. All right, let's get into it. So these two defense types can completely change how your weapon performs, okay? So how your fights flow and even which playstyles fit you best. A lot of players gloss over it or simply just don't understand the difference between block and fencing and also balanced melee weapon defense types, okay? But once you understand exactly how they work, you'll start noticing how much easier or potentially harder your fights can be just by swapping this one stat. Alright, so let's start simple. So every melee weapon in Space Marine 2 has what's called a defense type. And it's either fencing, block, or balanced. It might sound like a minor detail, but it actually controls how your parries and blocks behave in combat. If you're using a fencing weapon, you get a wider parry window, okay? So that's the blue attack. When the enemy is coming at you with a blue attack, that is a parry window, okay? The red attack is an unblockable. Keep those two in mind, okay, guys? That means you've got more time to react to incoming attacks and land those perfect parries. Even if your timing's a little early or late, the game still counts it. It's very forgiving. Fencing weapons are designed for smoother, more reactive play. Now, block is the opposite. You don't rely on parrying. You're absorbing hits head on. It's less about timing, a perfect deflection, and more about holding your ground and countering with heavy power that you've stored from all those hits and damage afterwards, okay? Then there's balanced, which is right kind of in the middle. It gives you a standard parry window and decent all-around stats. It's fine, don't get me wrong, but honestly, most players, and honestly, in my opinion, you should really choose between fencing and blocking, but most players tend to gravitate towards either fencing or blocking anyways. And then, basically as the game progresses and as you learn more about the way you play, you kind of tailor your defense type to that, okay? But let's go further into detail and kind of going over timing versus power. So when you put them side by side, fencing and block really come down to timing versus power. So fencing is all about speed, control, and consistency. You're not necessarily doing the biggest damage, but you're keeping the fight flowing. Because you can parry more easily, you stay in control and take less damage overall. With block, you're trading that control for impact. You can't perfect parry, but your base weapon stats are increased, okay? Things like stagger, damage, and cleave tend to hit harder. You are hitting a little slower, but the damage is higher. You rely more on dodging, spacing, and picking your moment to punish after a block. So if you prefer the reactive, fast-paced combat, catching hits and countering right away with gun strikes, fencing feels incredible, and that will probably be the defense type for you. But if you like more of a heavier, more deliberate style where you plant your feet and hit like a truck, block absolutely delivers, and that one's probably your defense type to choose. Now, let's go a little bit into how they actually feel in combat. Now, in terms of feel, the difference is huge. I prefer fencing. It's just the way I play. I love the Vanguard class, as you guys can see in the gameplay in the back. I choose the Vanguard class, so I just prefer to be a little more mobile and agile. And for me, the fencing variants I find just work better with my playstyle and the Vanguard class playstyle. But again, going over it, guys, with fencing, combat feels fluid. You're watching your enemies swing, reacting just in time, and changing those perfect parries one after another. You'll find yourself in that rhythm, parry, counter, and it just feels clean. It's especially strong when you're surrounded, because the wider parry window gives you more forgiveness when several enemies attack at once. Now, there's a few things to keep in mind for what I just said, okay, guys? There have been a lot of times where even me, myself, when I parry, I do a perfect parry, and I'm going into that gun strike animation. I have another enemy come in and attack me while I'm in that gun strike animation, and I can't get out of it, right? So keep in mind that when you perform a perfect parry, you do not need to throw the gun strike right away, okay? Wait till the coast is clear. If you're surrounded in all areas, I would say hold out just a little bit, unless, this is a big unless, okay? Unless you have a perk that allows no damage or no heavy hits, one of those two. It'll be worded differently every class, but no damage or knockback during like a gun strike or after a perfect parry. You'll find a lot of classes have this this perk available, so look out for that. That is a very important perk to put on, so keep that in mind, okay, guys? Now, in terms of block, though, block gives the fight a totally different tone. You're not reacting, you're anticipating, okay? You're waiting for the enemy to swing. You brace yourself, and then when you punish them afterwards, you really hit them hard with that stored up energy, okay? When you land those heavy counter after a successful, few blocks, it feels insanely satisfying, and the power hits hard. You definitely can notice it against, if you're stacking up against some extremist enemies or even Majoris, you really hit them hard. It is slower, so keep that in mind, but every hit carries weight. Okay, now let's go a little bit into its strengths, weaknesses, and playstyle fit. So fencing shines when you're up against large groups or fast attackers. The bigger parry window means you can handle chaos or Tyranids much more comfortably. It's also great for classes or builds that trigger bonuses on perfect parries, things like armor regen or damage boosts. I know the Bulwark class and I believe the Assault class has a perk where non-finisher gun strikes restore a ammo or armor segment, so keep that in mind. That would probably affect what you would want to choose between fencing and blocking, because if you're a block, you can't perfect parry and gun strike, but if you are using a fencing, that will be an advantageous perk, okay? So keep that in mind. If you're if you're a Bulwark and you're using a block power sword and you have that non-finisher gun strike perk on, you might want to switch that off, or you might want to switch to fencing, see what fits you best, right? But yeah, so to continue, guys, fencing is also great for classes or builds that trigger, like I said, bonuses on perfect parries, okay? So the downside, although there is downsides to fencing. The downside to the fencing melee type is that the weapons usually don't hit as hard, okay, as a block weapon. You're getting consistency, yes, and safety at a cost, though, of raw power. So please keep that in mind, all right? Block, on the other hand, gives you that brute strength. You'll hit harder, stagger more enemies, and stand your ground a lot more efficiently. Maybe not a lot more efficiently, but you'll stand your ground. That's how you should play as a block weapon, okay? You're all about absorbing those hits, absorbing the power from the enemies, as you can see in the gameplay before this one, and then you pop it right back to the enemy, okay? It's awesome if you like the feeling of breaking through enemy lines and trading hits instead of dodging around. Me personally, I prefer that dodging around. I like to be a little more fluid and mobile, but again, everybody's different. The trade-off is it's less forgiving, though, okay? So block is definitely less forgiving. If you screw up, if you miss a block or time it wrong, you'll feel it. You'll feel it hard. So block tends to reward players who are confident with enemy patterns and willing to play a bit riskier for that payoff. Okay, guys, so keep that in mind. It's less forgiving. So if you're new to the game, go for fencing or balanced. If you're a veteran and you want to try a different play style, then definitely give block a go. So, how to pick the right one for you? Honestly, guys, it's really up to you and the way you like to play. Like I said, me personally, I like fencing, but everyone's different. So if you're someone who likes reactive combat, smoother timing, and you want to keep your momentum flowing, go with fencing. If you're new to the game, go with fencing. Try fencing out first, get a feel of it before you go into block. Block is a lot less forgiving. Fencing makes melee feel really fluid and responsive, and it's much easier to maintain control in chaotic fights. If you like slower, heavier gameplay, where you take hits and then punish hard afterward, block will fit your style perfectly. It's tougher to master, but once you get that timing down, it's extremely powerful and satisfying. If you're still unsure though, try both. You'll instantly notice the difference in how your weapon feels and the different mechanics involved. Play a few missions with play a few operations with each, and pay attention on how your rhythm changes, how well you do, and honestly, at the end of the day, which one you prefer. Okay, because at the end of the day, guys, it's a game and you're in it just to play and have fun. So to wrap it up, guys, fencing is all about flow, precision, and rhythm. Block is about power, timing, and control. Neither one is strictly better. They just reward different play styles. If you're still getting comfortable with melee, fencing will help you stay consistent. But if you want to push your damage and master a heavy, more aggressive approach, block's the way to go. And again, you can always try balanced if you don't know which one is best. But honestly, guys, if you're going to choose balanced, just go fencing, honestly. Anyway, that's my full breakdown of block versus fencing in Space Marine 2. Hopefully this helps you pick the one that feels right for you. If you found this helpful, guys, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, drop a comment, let me know which one you choose. And guys, if you want to support the channel a little further, I do have channel memberships unlocked. So if you want to support the channel, feel free to become a member. I'll be very appreciative, but again, don't feel obligated. Simply liking, subscribing, and just sitting back and enjoying the video is more than enough. All right, guys? With that being said, I'll keep you there. Enjoy the video and talk to you later, guys.